Hello, Matt Osborne here from MrLeica.com. In this video I'll be sharing with you my results from using Silbersalz 35 Kodak Vision3 movie film on a trip to the south coast in the UK to a town called Brighton. I ordered two of their multi-packs, so I got 2 rolls of 50D, 2 rolls of 200T, 2 rolls of 250D and 2 rolls of 500T. So that's 4 rolls of daylight balance film and 4 rolls of tungsten balance film. The main camera for the trip was my Leicaflex SL with a 35mm Summicron, 50mm Summicron and 135mm Elmarit. I also had a few other film cameras, including the Nikon FG20 you can see there, and a couple of medium format cameras. Watch right through to the end, and I'll also share photos shot with the Pier 2 and the Agfa Billy Record 6x9. Brighton is on the south of the UK, just below London, and if we zoom in, this is where our journey starts. So I started shooting as soon as I got off the train, and just loved the shadows cast on the train from the overhead structure. As I walked into the centre, I saw this amazing customised VW Beetle starred in the Herbie design from the 1977 movie, if any of you have seen it. These photos were shot with the Leica Summicron 35mm f2 R lens on the Leicaflex SL, and I was just basically taking photos like a tourist of anything that caught my eye. Because I was shooting colour film, I was trying to look for colourful subjects, but I did also try my attempt at a bit of street photography as well. This is another kind of tourist shot, straight on, and then I was trying to get a bit more creative, so I tried to do half the frame with something in the foreground. Then as I went into the bus shelter, I saw this shot, and I think this is my favourite of those 3 images, and I really liked the kind of composing within the framing of the window. I was going to be in Brighton for 2.5 days with the sole purpose of shooting as much of the 8 rolls of Silbersalz film as possible. So for day 1 my plan was to focus my attention and time around Brighton Pier and basically photograph anything that caught my eye. Looking down at the pier from high ground, it looked like it was going to be a really busy day, so great for street photography and anything else that I could find. The first thing I came across were these bikes all lined up, so I took a few shots of these pretty cool looking bikes. Again, these photos were shot with the 35mm Summicron and using the Vision3 50D film. Exposed at ISO 40s, it was slightly expired. I did buy the film fresh, it's worth noting, but I've had the film in my fridge for more than a year, so that's why it's slightly expired. So for that reason, it's always good to slightly overexpose expired film. If you follow me on Instagram and Flickr, links below, you'll know that I normally photograph models, so this is slightly different for me. So getting close to people and not asking for their permission is always a bit unnerving. The B-roll clips were shot with my Lumix S5 and then Leica R lenses. Not sure if this is a local famous photographer or not. I tried to keep this video to mostly film images, but I did have some fun using digital, catching people jumping off the ends of these sea defence walls. This is shot from the pier. As well as having fun with the film cameras, I was also enjoying testing the Leica R lenses for video on the S5. I love the red against the blue sky, probably a typical postcard shot. This spot really caught my eye because I like the shadows of the people in the foreground and in the different hats against the brighter background. So I exposed the background and then tried to create silhouettes with the foreground subjects.
Okay, look, I'll just buy one.
love the colour palette here, so I was trying to catch the yellow on the blue. The lights kept going on and off, so I was trying to time the film shots to catch the yellow lights on. Oh, this is the girl I met outside a camera shop, so I persuaded her to meet me and have a few photos. She was in the camera shop buying film for her own camera, so I thought that was really great to see. Again, yellow and blue. I love the lines on the contrasting colours. Some of these photos are now shot later in the day, but at the same locations, and the light was absolutely amazing as the sun was getting low. When shooting colour film, you really notice the difference in colour temperature. So this was shot earlier in the day, and then look at the colours now. This is now later in the day, and the sun's obviously lower, and so the colours are much warmer. As we go through this sequence, you can see pretty much everybody was taking photos of the sunset. So I was trying to take photos of them taking photos of the sunset. But you can see the warm cast on the side of the pier. I loved how these windows frame people walking past, and you can see the old Brighton Pier in the background. So I use this both for photos and for video. Again, this is the light now even lower, and the colours are just absolutely amazing. That was some of my nicest colours I've captured on colour film. This was me now really pushing the cameras to their kind of limit in terms of what they could work at. And for this shot I had it balanced on to allow me to use a longer shutter speed, and the same for this shot. And these two photos are actually shot with the Leica M240, and you can really see the difference with the high contrast and maybe too sharp look from digital compared to film. But it allowed me to work in complete darkness with digital, where I stopped using film before it got completely dark. Okay, so after being almost the last person on the pier the night before, I got up early, maybe 6:30, to now work on a different part of Brighton coastline. This was Brighton Pier in first light, and I think the colours are slightly odd. I think perhaps I shot these with tungsten balanced film and then tried to colour correct them in Lightroom. Just as a reminder, all the film was developed by Silbersalz 35 in ECN2 chemistry. They then scan the film and send you both JPEGs and RAW files. All the photos I'm showing in this video are RAW files, where I've then colour corrected in Lightroom. Brighton Promenade looked slightly different from the night before. It was like a ghost town. There was a few runners, a few cyclists, the guy on the skates, and then everything else was still shut. I quite liked taking photos of the old signage. This fish and chip shop sign, for example, I thought it looked quite good on film. As I was walking along the seafront, I noticed these two shops where one was blue, one was red, and then the guy outside the blue shop had a red brush, and the guy outside the red shop had a blue shirt, and I thought they contrasted quite nicely. I walked around a corner and saw this postman, and I loved the whole scene, so I just grabbed a shot and then said hello to him afterwards. I like the kind of Art Deco vibes of the old Odeon cinema. It looked like it needed a new paint job. Oh, this is me shooting some shallow depth of field, because most photos in this trip were shot around f8, I'd say, because of the bright conditions. This was more of a rundown part of the town. I just wanted to show a real representation of what Brighton had to offer. I asked this lady, actually, she walked past, and I said, could I take a photo, because she filled the gap in my image where I was trying to compose. And this is the cleaners hard at work after all the mess from the day before. Everything was starting up. There was a lot of guys with metal detectors on the beach, and the hardcore swimmers coming out. I think there's a swimming club hut on the front, or more runners. As a keen runner, I was impressed by all the runners. I also like the colours here, again the red and yellows against the blue sky. The rides was just starting to open up, so I think I was annoying some of the guys trying to open the things up, because I kept taking pictures. I'm not quite sure I took this, but I think the red and blue against the blue again. More runners. So I'm basically walking my way along a promenade towards the tower you can see in the distance. Oh, I quite enjoyed this. So this is me shooting from overhead, and I don't normally get this angle to shoot at, so I really enjoyed it for composing and just kind of people watching and trying to work out making compositions from potentially messy subjects. Oh, this was one of my favourite shots perhaps of the whole trip. I just loved how everything just lined up. Oh, this was art from, I think, local photographers shared on the beach, so I tried to compose that in the foreground and the old pier in the background. Some really nice shots, and against the blue sky and the nice light, it worked really well. I took this shot of the guy with the cool hat against the background, and then I thought it should be sociable and go and speak to him, so I said hello, and he basically said, please leave me alone. So I did. Oh, another guy with his metal detector. Right, this is now back at the apartment for a quick power nap around 1 o'clock. I'd done a big stint in the morning, and then I had like a coffee, food, quick break, and then back out again for the afternoon until the evening. When I saw these blue deck chairs and the red parasol and the background, I was just like, oh, these are amazing. I've got to get some shots. So I tried, I think, all three lenses, and I think my favourite was the 35, this last photo. For this shot, I tried to single out the green deck chair and shot it with a 135mm Leica Elmarit R lens. And here I like the, again, red and yellow against the blue. You can probably see a theme. One reason I chose Brighton to visit of any place I could have visited in the UK is I wanted a mix of old architecture, people for street photography, the seaside, and hopefully nice weather. Brighton certainly didn't disappoint, and I'd happily go again, and next time shoot it all on black and white. This was taken with the 135mm Elmarit to try and get some subject background separation. Oh, now this is the upside down house and me trying different compositions. First of all from the top, and colour matching the bush shelter with the house itself, and then getting down to more of a tourist photo view and shooting along the leading lines on the floor at a lower level. The Art Deco rounded design of the beach club really caught my eye, so I took a few frames with this. And then as I walked a bit further to the West Beach building, I really loved both the design and just everything, the light and everything was just perfect. And this is where the British Airways tower is, so I kind of hung around and took a whole sequence of photos. I just thought it was absolutely fascinating for pictures. Kind of the ultra modern tower against the vintage looking foreground building. I was taking photos with all cameras, I think. Oh, this shot, I quite liked the appearance of a chimney coming out the side of the building, and they're trying to use parallel lines from the street lights against it, and here again using poles on the beach against the tower. This is later in the day now, so this is me testing the 135mm lens, I think, for Sunstars, the 6-element design, and a bit more street photography. It's not quite in focus, but I saw this guy with the amazing hair and the amazing backlight, so I just said, please go and take a picture, and just basically stand there. So I took 2 frames to see how much I could flare the lens. I think this was shot with the 50mm Summicron version 1. And now walking back into town, again the street lights are coming on, so trying to catch the yellow street lights against the blue sky. And here it is even later now. You can see the skies a lot darker. And this is at the pier entrance, I think. So the fish and chip shop again, which was seen earlier in the video, which was closed. And this is me walking back to the hotel, and I saw this guy sitting, so I used him as a foreground element. I wanted to test the film for mixed lighting, so I was kind of hunting out UV lights, tungsten lights, and anything I could find where there's a source of mixed lighting to see how the film would cope. This is in the town centre, in kind of a restaurant area. And I love the neon sign on this wall and how it reflected off the floor. I really like that shot. Okay, my last morning in Brighton, so I got up again at 6 o'clock to try and catch some photos before I had to leave, and to frame the Brighton skyline in the background. For all those photos I just exposed for the sky. I saw these group of 3 summers coming in, and I thought they made a nice composition coming out of the water with the pier in the foreground. This was now walking to the station. I saw these horses. I thought it was all very, very elegant, and I still had film left on the camera, so I was trying to finish my rolls even all the way to the station. If you've watched all the way through, then big thanks. And now I can show you the cameras I was using in more detail. So I had quite a few cameras with me. That's the Lumix S5 body, you can see with my finger on it. Next to that's the Nikon FG20 with a 28mm Voigtlander lens on, which did really well in my recent 28mm shootout test. Really good lens, highly recommended. Next to that's a little Bessa R or Bessa L, I think, but I didn't use that camera. The one that's still in the bag at the moment. The main cameras, as I say, I didn't really use the FG20 much because I was trying to focus on using the Leicaflex. So I think I only shot half a roll with the Nikon and then all the rest with the Leicaflex. There it's got the 35mm lens on, I believe. If you like a small ultralight SLR camera, I would highly recommend checking out the FG20 video that I've done. And if you want to know more about the Leicaflex SL, see the Leicaflex SL review. And then in addition to 35mm, I had two 120 medium format cameras. The first is the Pier 2. As you can see in this photo, I let the girl test it. And these are photos shot with the Voigtlander Pier 2 6x6 camera. These pictures are shot with 120 Vericolor expired film, which was kindly donated to me by one of you kind viewers, so thank you very much again for that. The first few photos share but edits, and that last photo, I'm not quite sure how I messed up the composition, but the colours are just fantastic. Really, really sharp lens on that camera, highly recommended, and it's also extremely small, so brilliant camera. See that video if you want to know more about the Pier 2. My second medium format camera was an Agfa Billy Record 2, which is a 6x9 vintage folding camera. These are photos shot with the Agfa Billy Record 2 at probably around f8, and again it can be really sharp if you get the focus right. Again, the first two photos with borders were edits, and this last one with the crazy mouse is an unedited raw file. Check out my 6x9 folding camera video for more information. And lastly, here is my digital setup. So I was using the Leica R lenses on the Leica M240 and focusing via an EVF. That's the 24mm Elmarit lens. If you enjoyed this walkabout video with example photos, please hit the like button and please comment below to let me know if you like more videos like this. As always, a massive thank you to my patrons and a special thank you to Dee, who kindly sent me money via PayPal this week on one of the links found underneath my videos to help support the channel. Big thank you, Dee. Much appreciated. See you all in the next video. Bye.